Hola lovers, how are you? It's MJ from I UNPLUG. I've just recorded a few intuitive reads for the special people on the internet who are finding I UNPLUG intuitive tarot. So it's super fun and I'm loving these new aspects to my reality. Hence the title share today, which is like embodying the new you. And we've just had a full moon partial lunar eclipse yesterday. Oh, and I got to see it. I totally wasn't even planning. Katie and I went to a yoga class together last night, which was glorious, at a place called Float Spa in Brighton with a friend of Katie's who's amazing. Hola, Fifth World. Hi that way. And we were walking. We decided this prior to, but we went to the yoga class together, and then we thought, oh yeah, we'll just walk along the I don't know, promenade or whatever of Brighton. I'm sure it's called something. Promenade, is that right expression? Like along the waterfront anyway. And then we were like looking, and she's like, oh wow, look at the moon. And like from a distance, it was like red, and it just looked like a bit of cloud coverage. And then I was like, hey, wait a minute, I think that's the eclipse. Like we're looking at the eclipse right now. And we're like, whoa, whoa. We didn't know that. We just didn't know. But we ended up, because we did this about a year ago, Katie and I, when we were living together, and I was commuting back and forth from Devon and London and Brighton. Insanity. About a year ago, we went to the beach and we did a proper, like, team love MG Katie ceremony of like our lives and like setting all these intentions. And it's so fucking weird because both of us in the last year have been through so much emotionally, energetically, like perspective shifts, like continuous. And here we are on Brighton Beach doing another ceremony a year later with this amazing cosmic event, seeing the moon get cut in half. And then we both did it. We did it properly as well. I brought my son Paulo down. I brought my crystals. We both had our journals, and we spoke out loud a lot of our intentions, and then we burned them and set them free. Basically, we set them free in the sea, and it felt awesome. Basically, it felt very, very real, very good. And it was nice to do it together again and to kind of re-embed and reset those similar-ish intentions, but we were both able to reflect back to one another how different we are. Even a year later, it's like, holy shazbot, who have we become? You know, we've become completely different women. And, you know, very much thanks to all the wonderful people and circumstances and things that have arisen in our lives from this standpoint of radical self-responsibility, where the transformation, the energetic, genetic transformation, whatever that we've been through has really risen that sense of sovereignty and unity and authenticity. And yeah, it's just really, really fun times, and actually quite exciting for new paradigm communities to be rising and more, stepping into more integrity, stepping into more authenticity, which is flow, which is love, which is, you know, good vibes, empathy, compassion, self-direction, people being able to accept themselves in the fullness of their humanity, you know, like there's really, really positive energies coming through for this planet, which is wonderfully exciting. And of course the polarity is the mounting outworking on the physical plane of all of this intense energetic transformation that all of the beings and sort of the energetic field of this realm has been going through. So we're in that regard, embodying the new very much is like the embodiment of our divine soul blueprint, the embodied through all this energetic whatever ascension we call it, spiritual transformation. Try not to get too headspacey about it, because then I find it becomes a bit dogmatic and not as anchored in just presence, right? Because presence is like the continuation of energetic flow via the vessel that you are, which is ultimately creation, right? You becoming the creator that you are versus seeking your creations outside of self. That's part of the paradox of manifestation or the hero's journey, is that it's like all the failing, it's all the pain, it's all the shit that is rising us. Whereas if we're always chasing the good stuff but denying all the shits that we carry inside, we actually keep attracting the shit in bigger and uglier ways, rather than facing it down and working with it in the self before it gets projected into the field. So there's a lot of anchored awareness. There's a lot more discipline coming through the new paradigm energy and new paradigm leadership and communities. And I feel people are feeling the lift as well. Even though there's ebb and flow, people are feeling those lifts happening in their daily lives, and that's allowing them to keep shedding the past projection, allowing them to keep letting go of the old stories, so that we are continuing to project that which feels better for us. And then in those waves, we're like feeling the pickup of that more loving frequency. And it's like soul tribes coming together. I try not to, like, again, even ideas of soul, family, and stuff. I'm still working with the language of these things, something came up where we were noodling the idea of how businesses and corporations will be like, we're like a happy family at this place, and I'm thinking, no, you're fucking not. You know, like, I think sometimes we say things and put things out there, but what's the actual meaning of it? And is it real, or is it just a facade to make it seem like it's better? It's like things like partying or shopping. Like, just keep shopping so you can be like all the happy people in the advertisements. And that's not true. We never get there. You know, like, as in, it's never. We were talking about this yesterday, but like the media, the imaging that's in the media is always delusional. Like, it's always triggering our reptilian, like, base tone. And so weirdly, like, the advertisements subliminally trigger our unworthiness, our less thanness, which is why we then have therapies like retail therapy. You know, just shop your way out of how unworthy you feel. And again, it's mass. It's all mass. It's and this is part of, I think, in my personal journey, like the depth of isolation and or like withdrawal from other, simply to really attune to my own personal clarity and purpose and sense of self and language even, you know, suddenly navigating this reality and bumping up against peoples and tribes and different things that I'd hit different, like, dissonance, not resonance, dissonance. And so it was just, I guess, higher self, intuition, guiding me into this sort of tunnel of darkness, to just like keep going through the tunnel. And then it's like light eventually shows up and you're like, oh my God. And then you're following the breadcrumb trail, or following the little light things that appear when they do. And then if you just keep going, eventually, like, it becomes more dominantly light, you know? Hello. Hi that way. Hi, Rochelle. How are you guys? I've missed you. I feel I've been away for a while already. What day is it now? What day is it, you guys? I don't even know. Wednesday? Hi, Great Muta. Well, how many channels do you have? Oh, it's Tuesday for you, Rochelle, isn't it? It's Wednesday morning pour moi here in the UK. So yeah, you know, we've been doing all this inner work, and we're beginning to anchor, thus rise into this. It's just greater sovereignty, better feelings, feeling lighter, feeling more in the zone of who you are, and not being pushed and pulled by distractions. You know, the Minuteman, yeah, it's excruciating. And here's, like, so my awareness sometimes, and I do remind people, clients and stuff, when they're in the thick of the pain, it is like, and you express it because you know what it is. It's removing, it's outworking these energy wounds, the trauma, the imprint, right? Yeah, I miss. Yeah, I have that. Like, it's definitely there. It was glorious to take a couple of days off, but I could definitely feel it. And it's nice. Like, I think again, that's the glory of loving what you do is that you do want to do it all the time. Like, I miss you guys when I'm away for a few days. I'm just like, hey, mama, how's everybody doing today, right? So right. So the next coming weeks, months, years now, it's like all of humanity is gonna start undergoing this mass awakening. Energies will lift, and some energies will dissolve as more of the mass starts to fix their attention on the new. Collective agreements will be dissolved, soul contracts will be dissolved, and then the physical enslavement bond eventually will be dissolved on the physical planetary level, which is likely over the next 7 years to shapeshift the world economy and to be holding a lot of corrupted energy accountable. So there will be sort of that happening as well, which will invoke a sense of certain energies leaving the earth realm and being extinguished ultimately from the ability to and there's that Saturn matrix thing, right? That's part of the shift, is that the energy is aligned with that. That's what's being uprooted, right? Hi, Shikiki Libra, how are you? You know, Minuteman, I actually thought that as well. Which, like, I'm still not, I can't tell if you're joking. I'm not exactly sure. But when I read that about the thorns, I was actually thinking you had thorns in your hands. I did reading with my friend last Thursday morning. He's got a huge back garden and it's just him, like, who's got to work it out. So I was like, hey, dude, I'm gonna do some gardening. And it was super fun and therapeutic. But you can still see like the battle wounds of of gardening, where this is not nearly as bad as it was like a week or when I first did it. But I had to clean that one because I think it went like a tiny bit infected. And I had to scratch all here. I guess, you know, when you're doing heavy duty weeding and gardening, you probably shouldn't wear a tank top because it's going to scratch your arms and stuff. But Minuteman, or is that what your name was? So I can testify. I can testify. The thorns hurt. The thorns hurt, right? And then it's funny because you use that expression, and I was using that in regards to like community, sustainable community, having had shed instability in my surroundings and in my sort of connections, and how, you know, I've had a friend often describe, like, if there's two people and there's a negative, a positive, this is science, the positive becomes the negative. And I was like, well, even in a group consciousness, you can only be as strong as your weakest player. You can only, or if there's one person putting a thorn in that collective dynamic, it's going to burst the bubble, right? And so I was thinking about how for so long I've been feeling into like creating a super stable foundation, like like uproot all the old and then put new fucking more stable, more loving, deeper, better materials, all that kind of stuff. Get that foundation really, really, really secure. And sometimes I feel like that's taken quite a while. That's taken like a lot of deep energy reflection and transformation, and then like shifting and morphing and all this kind of stuff. And then, just finally, literally like yesterday after doing the ceremony, stepping into this new embodiment of like, it's almost unfamiliar, but it's familiar, but it's not. It's called paradox, my friends. That's intuitive at working. And often if that's the case with the radium shards, then you can energetically remove them. I think that's possible. It's like the light force within, the light awareness in any given situation when it comes to physical pain in the body. It moves through the energetic, because again, it can be on various veils, right? But there's a lot of the, like the black goo and tar, there's more of that coming up and out of people. Leaving no mystery. I don't know. I don't know. This is a mystery, but it does feel like this. It feels like wowzers, new beginnings, and very much now embodying that new, as far as like this shit that we've been working on for so long, or it feels like so long, and that's come up for myself, a couple clients, and like some of Team Love as well. We're just like, oh my god, it's just relentless. But there's this very real sense of like not even feeling like our past self is familiar in that regard, or like it's a different lifetime. Also, with this incredible cycle coming to completion, this very dense sort of base tone karmic cycles all coming into culmination and completion. We joke about like, oh man, this last few weeks, or yeah, these last few months have been so into, yeah, these last few, yeah, my whole life, like my whole life. Like sometimes when you go back, it's like balls, wowzers. My whole life has just been like suffering and like, what is this? And like, or like put all these heavy, dense masks on and try to fit in with the 3D reality. And then eventually just be like, oh my God, it's killing me. I can't do it. I can't get away from me. I can't do it. And then you're like, and then life is okay again. And then you remember that you're totally allowed to be exactly who you are. Sometimes we just need to put more times of bare feet on the ground, I'm tired of people extorting for free information. Just had someone say, well, you can share more of that perhaps there, Rochelle. I'm curious, because I'm not sure if I'm kind of reading it quite right. Just when someone say, well, if I do not pay, then no download. Like, is that someone on this sort of platform, and that you're asking for information from, or I don't know. I'm just being curious. And then I want to hear something about, yes, bare feet in the ground, and doodly doodly. Oh wait, someone, gracious love. Om Namah Shivaya, 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 Om Namah Shivaya. Hold up, hold up. Where was I going? Oh yeah, gracious love, new galactic year in less than 2 weeks, year of the divine feminine. Well, for shizzles, right? I can feel that beyond. That's the awareness that's been healing us for, certainly in our conscious awareness, for probably the last 4 or 5 years, if not more. Divine feminine is just love and nurturing, helping to balance the distorted patriarchy, which is just us living in denial of half of us. It's without being, without even having to make it, it's not gender. We know this. It's energy. It's a feminine energy and a masculine energy. And we want to embrace the totality of all of it as divinity. Men and women are divine, and we have these divine aspects. So we're working out our shadow to embody the divine. And ultimately, what we recognize has been denied. Hello, Julie. Apparently, what we could say in our historical context, that which has been denied is the more of the feminine stuff, more of the emotions and the love and intuition and nurturing and yeah, that bit got kind of shamed. And so we're having to heal all the shame around our beingness to have more compassion and love for the self, divine feminine, so that we can just be more whole, you know? Because I think people get so, right, yeah, right, racist love. People get so hung up on like the terms of, what about the divine masculine? I'm like, oh gosh. I'm like, it's not a war. Hence this, the meditation, mindfulness, yoga, spirituality is like so crucial for our humanity right now, so that we can temper our reactions, temper our, you know, every time we're reacting against, we're perpetuating that same divisive construct. And it's the divisive construct, it's the separation construct, which gets us every time. You know, oh, it's there, it's them. And I'm seeing so much more balance and unity in my life that it's just obvious, you know, that when we, and here's the thing, a lot of us women in many ways have had a certain advantage because we've been able to be more emotional if we were raised in a healthy enough environment. And our generation certainly have had to learn how to work, how to take action, how to go out in the world, how to get shit done. So a lot of us as women have embodied that masculine energy, and the divine feminine is healing these deeper, intense woundings. But some of this healing has been a little bit maybe more available to women, or it's just also part of like the rebalancing. It's that if we recognize there's not enough female representation in our world, then that's women having to rise themselves up, you know? So I think, but it's just so unique and individual. I'm just aware increasingly of finding, I suppose, the most harmonious language. Right, and men couldn't show any emotion except anger mostly, yeah. And then they don't, and then it's like, a lot of men fear the anger because anger is connected to violence, but then it's like underlying, like, why are they acting out? Where's the anger coming from? Like, and, you know, and sadly, a lot of that anger reactivity is really just the wounded child, right? Of course, we know this. That's why in A Course in Miracles, anger is never justified, because anger is a reactive pattern that's protecting us from wounding. Because usually, even a child or any of us, when we're more on flow, when anger comes up and we express it, this is certainly I got angry on one of the days of the festivals because of, I don't know, something happened with security, and it really bummed me out. And then I just started walking away. I had tears come up, but then I got angry and was like, fuck this, like, ah! But then as soon as I express the anger, then the tears come, you know? And I didn't vent at anybody. It was just in a field, and I threw my mats down and just had to my frustration, you know? But those are my creations. That still has to do with my underlying resentment and struggle with resistance against the system. I've talked about this. This is essentially where I'm at in my own outworking, is now dropping, I can feel emotion. It's hard, it's difficult. It feels like a challenge, but like dropping the fight. Dropping the resistance. There's nothing to fight. There's no world out there. There's no, right? Just be love. Just enjoy your life. Just be free. Just be who you are. Cry, be sad, be angry, move through the energy. We're just getting better at holding space for ourselves, okay? Molly, please check your PayPal later, friend. Well, I will. I get notifications. It's like that. Oh, good, Julie, excellent. Totally what I needed to hear. That made me think about something. It made me think there's one of you I need to get in touch with, because I feel like there was technology issues and difficulty in booking something, and then I'm thinking, I just want to do a reading for you. Anyway, I just went off on a little tangent, and suddenly my eyes are feeling a bit tired. So I feel like I'm going to bring it to a close. Really short little share today. I think I'll post a photo. I think it was to your bank. I don't know. Well, you need to have bank details for that, my friend. And over here in the UK, you just have to have the email. So molly@altolove.com or teamlove@altolove.com. Both accept PayPal donations. Thanks. I'll have a look, my friend. And yeah. So the world is our reflection. And that is good, Minuteman. The more of us that can integrate and embody the new, which is a balanced, sovereign, authentic, integral human from a perspective of unity, grace, and love, then we radiate the balance and the world becomes a more balanced place. The world is always reflecting our beingness. The world is always reflecting our state of consciousness. It's one and the same. So as the world endeavors a quantum leap, our own beingness is also going through this quantum leap, which is why more and more of us are sharing on these platforms to assist one another, because we're all going through it. But it's not like a dogma. It's not like a specific exact process that everyone can fit into. It's like, it's like unique, and everyone's got to noodle it out for themselves, but we help each other, I think, by being honest about what it is that we're going through, because it's moflo intense. And in a way, the world taught us that anything outside of this little narrow spectrum is unacceptable. I'm breaking up because I don't think I have maybe the best connections here, but I am gonna bounce. I don't know why I'm like bounce. I only get angry when lied to. Yeah, I've been through a lot on that. I've had a lot of that. I have ventings, but a lot of them are just like, and then eventually I'm like, oh, but it's fine. I'm like, normally I just come back to this like, everyone's doing their best. It's just the blind leading the blind, you know? No one person's got all the answers. We just got answers inside the self of the self. One mind, one body, right? It just doesn't look like that because we figured that cutting ourselves all up would be fun. But it is fun. Existence is exhilarating. It's so cool. Such a weird divine mystery that it's just like, what is love, you guys? Like, what is actually going on? Does anyone know? I don't think so, but still, in truth, my experience has gotten better and better just by being okay about the fact that, like, what the fuck is life, and not knowing is better than trying to pretend I know and feeling like a fraud at everything. Thanks, you guys. Like, I so appreciate you. I know you know that, but like sometimes it's like words cannot describe the vibrashe of love here. If somebody said something about my book, hey, reach out, buy a book. If you buy it like from me, because I have some copies, it's £22 because shipping books is weirdly like expensive. And then if you want to get Audible, there's an Audible. I know a lot of people nowadays listen to books rather than read. So there's an Audible and a Kindle version, which are more inexpensive than the hard copy. The hard copy's attractive, though. I got to say, I'm actually like, yeah, I'm happy with it. I'm happy with the cover of it. Oh my gosh, how cool as well. One of you sent me like your version, and I was like, that's going to be your book cover, my friend. So yeah, I'm quite stoked. Generally, I feel like the energies have really lifted, and it's going to keep being really accelerated. More and more people. That's not the right expression. I just heard more and more people jumping off cliffs. I'm like, no, not like that. As in more people taking leaps in their lives, breaking free from jobs that they hate, ending abusive relationships, you know, all of that. And then more and more of us is just like here to just be like, it's okay. I know the big lie is so scary to wake up from, isn't it? Come here. Come here. Come here. That's it. We're just here. We're just going to do singing bowls for people and massage and hugs and yoga vibrashe. It's all very lovely. You know, it's all okay. I I know many of my meditations in the last probably 18 months have been jumping off cliffs, often free falling. And then the last few were like ending up on a fucking wave, like like trying to ride the wave. And then the last few have been like just landing on the shore, being like, okay, I'm still alive then, am I? Okay, I'm just gonna figure out how to live on this little island then. But at least it's very paradise, and then more people start showing up because they also caught the wave, right? But they're just a bit behind. So yeah, we're all being guided in a beautiful way. We'll just stick to the vision of the sustainability piece, and weirdly be try to ignore the density of the masses. Oh, one of you reached out about that as well, of like any tips or tools of like how to stay present or light filled when you're in this thick fog of, say, a metropolis or a big city, and you're picking up the energies of every exhausted and stress-filled human around you. And I was like, just be the light, basically. So as soon as you notice yourself going into judgment or going into the density of other, pull back in, and then bring the light through crown, bring the solar light through the crown, let it come through your whole beingness, fill yourself up with light, expand your light bubble, and then just be the light. And like literally channel and focus on radiating light and love. Because that not only does your body mind a world of good, but then, you know, technically speaking, in the quanti, that then, I mean, like in the quantum field beyond the veil, that then is permeating people's consciousnesses. Sure, and here's the thing, that way, whether we are lying or other is lying to us, it hurts because it's out of integrity. That's why more empath awareness is mega important right now, because we can reflect back to one another the truth of how accurate the intuition is, and then what the biofeedbacking energy is. That's something that I've really been working out when it comes to relating to people, is like, if you're really tuned in, you can almost tell when someone's lying or stretching the truth or bending the truth or hiding something, because you can start to feel the like distortion and or manipulation. It starts to feel oppressive or like off for an empath, for example. Different. Dropping the judgment is super useful for all of us. That's like a huge, it's so funny because it's step 2 in the book, judgment, the block to bliss. And so step 2 is all about forgiveness and judgment, and the fact that all of us are all either judging something as like negative or positive. And ultimately we'd prefer to be going in the positive direction, but not people pleasing or submissive kind of direction. But it's the negative judgment. It's the againstness. It's that which creates resistance, blocks, challenges, fear, right? So it's those judgments that we're endeavoring to uncover, expose, and transform. Oh, for sure, Julie. For sure. This is part of the open-hearted dialogue that we have here. It's what we talk about, or even, I think, our brother Jesus might have said, of like, it's the blind leading the blind. Like us, the reason we're talking about this stuff is some of the energies that we've traversed and been through, we didn't, like, I'm not going to sit here blaming and hating on the person I used to be because I didn't fucking know. Hence the compassion of like the world around us and people on their phones just mindlessly droning around. That's like, no, don't hate on the people that are consuming irresponsibly. We have to just hold space and vision. That's part of the distraction of the 3D realities, that we keep wanting to fix it out there. All we need to do is be in love with the self and shine that love and be that love, you know, and allow. Because you're right, most people don't know because they're not connected to their feeling body. And so often they're operating from fear. They might be lying, but they're lying because they're trying to protect their wounding. And those of us who have uncovered and healed our wounds, I even remember when I was in one of my wounds, I suddenly realized that's why you don't push this stuff on people. That's why I don't go out trying to manipulate people to be a client or do this or do that, because it has to be divinely guided. You know, it has to come from the purity of a co-creative evolutionary exchange versus a MJ's going around trying to fix people because people are stupid or they don't know what they're doing. That's a lie. That's an ego. That's arrogance. Everyone is on their divine path. Everyone is connected to source. There are no victims. We simply create archetypes for our own soul's growth, to evolve, to initiate ourselves. And ultimately, the more insane the world becomes, the more we as a species awaken. And evolution is just par for the course. Evolution in an energetic leap, which again, just in a simple way, means a lack belief to abundant belief, a disconnected belief to a connected belief, humans are slaves belief to humans all deserve to be here and live in love belief. Oh God, I just want the love vibration planet Earth so much. But I got it in my heart, and I got it in my heart. I was victimized once, right after I beat myself up over something. Yeah, I would say that's pretty typical for the empath as well, Rochelle. That we are victimized, and then we try to help the people who victimize us, and we're like, ugh, yeah, I can feel it. There's like stuff coming up around past situations where I'm like, and here's the thing from someone like me, my vibrashe is like, to each their own. You know, I guess for me, I've spent so long trying to please and love and be a good person, and it just every time ended in me getting totally lied to and messed about and that. But I'm the one who has to own it. I don't go around, I don't want to blame those people for their whatever. They're on their path, right? But boy, oh boy, have I led myself down some trail where I'm just like, ah! Like, what are you doing? You know, the boogeyman kind of thing. But I recognize the lesson. I recognize the learning. I recognize my own ability to expand and heal and harmonize within the self. We don't need to go back into people's physical presence. We don't need to like go in and manipulate their mind, because in fairness, if they can't be honest about how they feel, then they're not there yet. It's not our job to be like, well, actually, I'm an empath, so I can pretty much feel all the fear that you're carrying in your heart space, and I can feel where you're blocking your shame and where you're projecting your resentment, and I can feel where blah, 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 blah. And that's often the power of the empath, but holy cow, am I ever happy to not have to go around and do that the way I used to feel, that obligation to help and sort and sift and sit and realize that a lot of people don't fucking want it. They're just like, and that's okay. But after a while, that's super painful for the empath as well. And so hence complete withdrawal, isolation, going into the modern mystic vibration, and then being absolutely clear about whom I share my time with and whom I don't. And like, and that's just, it's just a choice in any given moment that we all have always. Okay, so you guys, you know how I do this, right? It's been like, I'm sure it was maybe 15 minutes ago that I was like, okay, I'm gonna go now. One of you guys said I was splitting up because I'm in a different locale and my data isn't as awesome, which makes me think I do have to get more data. I really appreciate you guys. You know who you are. Hooking up the donashe to assist with MJ vibration. Which I will do, but oh my gosh, sometimes I really find it troubling to like talk to salespeople and whatnot on phones. But I have to change that. I can change that. I always have a great experience. This is coffee. Julia, I don't know if you'll ever get this, but sometimes, ever since my ayahuasca ceremony, this is weird, but I don't know if any of you guys have had the blessing to try plant medicine that is ayahuasca, but like literally the thought of it is a little bit making me want to gag. It's not that nice, you know. But weirdly, ever since the ayahuasca ceremony, every so often, I don't know if it's certain times of the month because of certain hormones or something, but like I'm drinking my coffee being like, that tastes like plant medicine. But maybe, because in fairness, like caffeine is a plant, right? A bean, and it is a toxin, which is why I've I've got to say before this year is out, MJ's definitely going to do a juice fast. I've got to face it. I've got to give myself a little break from the old cafe and the old cannaboid smokealiciousness. As funkalish as it might be, I'm a bit like, I'm over it. With edibles once in a while. Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah, it's just certain, yeah, trigger points, I guess, like a certain palate area that I'm like picking up on, I guess, like the toxin of the substance, where it's triggering a certain response in my field. Ah, yeah, aftertaste. Oh, cool. Cool. And I feel like puking. Yeah. Holy shazbot, you guys. That's been another one. So you're not alone, even as far as like, okay, certain things. But there's quite a few of us who, it's like ebbing and flowing of like mental fog, feeling nauseous. No one I know that I've spoken to about it is actually vomiting, but like waves of nausea quite intense, and still people are getting hit with this sort of wall of exhaustion, like another day, la 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 la, boom, I'm exhausted. Like, um, which, which again is energy, moving through energy gates, and also being forced. It's like sometimes I think it's spirit. It's like spirit forcing you to chill the fuck out. It's like working like a slave is not going to help you anywhere. I'm so tired. It's like, yeah, it's like the doctor's orders, just rest so we can get well. So lots of rest is on the cards, lots of self-love. I've reached out to a couple of you. You have affirmed similarly where I've been. There's been an up level. I think the truth is we've successfully shifted the bass tones. A lot of the bass tones of underlying fear, corruption, distortion, that's shifted now. So a lot of us are very much anchoring into our sovereignty piece, into our purpose, into our unity, which once we get there, it doesn't take away the challenges of life. It just helps us navigate from this, just more authentic, better feeling place, so that we don't get in, we aren't going back. We aren't going back to the bass tones, basically. We've dropped those out. So a lot of us, basically, it's like a lot of our running themes for our life, whatever they are, different for all of us, but similar: love, self-loathing, self-hatred, body image, money issues, la 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 la. Certain threads of control and fear, guilt, shame. Some of those, when I say bass tone, it's the lowest of the low vibrations that we've been carrying and emitting and recreating. Those over the last 7 years for a lot of us have been what we've transformed. So we're now going ding. It's like an up level. So we now have a new set of challenges and in a higher bass tone, which means more functionally speaking, we can hang out in the ecstasy, love, bliss, and we're not going to swing so dynamically and so deeply down to darkness, because we've already navigated that aspect of our consciousness field, and now we're ready to up level it to higher tones, higher fields of projection, higher visions, right? Hence, more and more of us are walking into the new self. We are the new manifested state, which means we're pulling in quite in an accelerated way our desired creation and manifestation in service to the whole. Okay, I think that's it, you guys. I love you so much. Virtual hugs. Virtual hugs. That's my Elvis impression, you guys. Let's be the king. Have a great day, my lovely, lovely friends, and I so can't wait to speak to you soon. Hi, Anna. Oh, flowers for me. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Love you guys. I'll speak soon. Bye.